Void/Breaker is currently in early access, and we had a chance to check it out, and what we have here is a very satisfying and potentially solid shooter that combines the three R's of Returnal, Red Faction, and maybe some RoboQuests as well. Please note the footage you're going to be seeing here is taken from the early access of Void/Breaker and may not represent the current version of the game. What we have is a FPS roguelite. You are trapped in a program that apparently is ran by, I guess, GLaDOS's long-lost relative, who is forcing you to battling in a variety of military simulations until, well, you die or the end of time. In order to break out, we must hack the system, and by hack, I mean blow up a lot of stuff that gets in our way. Our gameplay here is fast-paced with a very heavy emphasis on movement. You have a dash, and I would honestly recommend the first thing that you do in this game, turn on auto run and bind dash to shift, because you're going to be using it quite a lot. Enemies are very frequent, very fast, and the game can quickly devolve into bullet hell and when you least expect it. Now, the main aspect of this game, and kind of one of the major draws of it, is the complete and utter destructibility that is happening in each part of the level, as per the laws of roguelike and roguelite design. You're going to be exploring via different nodes. Each node will take you to a different island where there's rewards, special items, and of course enemies to fight. Now, on these islands, you'll find a variety of structures that you can use your grenade or other abilities to blow them up. Now, this is a very important part of the game, as your basic gun here is kind of lacking. I'll come back to that point in a few minutes. Instead, what they want you to do is to use the environment through either blowing stuff up and having it drop on enemies, or just picking and flinging stuff along the way in order to stagger them. When enemies are staggered, they take increased damage, and they will also drop health and ammo. And this is going to be your primary way of healing, as enemies are very fast in terms of their attacks, and you have very few kind of iframes after being hit before you can take even more damage. An interesting aspect of this game is the kind of upgrades that it goes for. As we've seen with a lot of FPS roguelites over the years, pure damage is a bit harder to come by in this one. Instead, what they want you to do is make use of a variety of mods. Mods can be earned or bought at stores, and they come with a very, very wide variety. They can improve or change your character, change your weapons, give yourself kind of like a new shot type, and much more. And as one of my kind of favorite systems I've seen, the game also allows kind of the placement in your inventory to be part of the game itself. Certain mods can gain additional benefits by having duplicates. So if a mod causes poison or ice damage, you have 2 or 3 of them, you'll be able to increase that respective damage. There are mods that will add or change the properties of slots in your inventory based on where you place them, and this is how you're going to define your build. And keeping with the whole hacking the system and computer stuff, there are some very unusual mods. We ran into one mod that it basically determines, or it affects, I guess, and keeping with the whole computer and hacking theme, there are some very unusual mods. There's one mod that, based on the kind of resolution of your screen, would determine any bonuses. Another one was if you affect the frame rate, it can also change things. I'm expecting there's probably like a mod in this game that if you play the game at like 5 frames per second and maybe like 100p of resolution, that you basically go God mode and destroy everything in it. And while it's certainly not going to be for everyone, it definitely adds a little bit of class or a little touch of very interesting stuff to it. Our gameplay, with everything in mind, is going to be on the harder side. As I said a few minutes ago, enemies are very spongy. The entire concept is that you really don't want to be like just plain shooting them. You want to be building up their stagger so you can then deliver a finishing blow through your gun or melee. I did find the melee to be very hit or miss, quite literally. That there were plenty of cases where I would just like run at a stagger enemy, hit the melee button, and completely whiff despite being less than a foot away. And you're going to have to make use of the meta progression if you want to stand any chance. Win or lose a run, and you'll have accumulated resources that you can then use to unlock new features. This includes permanent buffs to your character, such as being able to decrease the recharge time on your dash, to unlocking new weapons and potential mods that can show up in future runs. There's definitely a lot going on for Void/Breaker here. And as I said, if the sponginess can't be looked at, I think there's a very solid game. And it can be a bit on the difficult side. The bosses are all about basically staggering them and then doing damage that way. And the one boss we fought can really get a little bit annoying when it starts using homing attacks, that your dash is not fast enough to get away from them. And I would say again, like to keep with what I said originally, there's definitely a lot of Returnal in this game, with how you're supposed to be constantly moving and dashing to avoid damage, but being in first person also makes it a little bit hard to gauge kind of again perspective and depth when it comes to the sheer veracity of shots that are being fired at you. So I would definitely check out this one in early access if you're interested, and I am certainly going to be keeping an eye on it for when it releases at 1.0, because this looks like there's definitely potential for a very exciting and bringing the house down FPS roguelite for people to enjoy. With that, this was played with an Xbox Games Pass key. Let me tell you your game for a future video, preview, stream, whatever. Does not have to involve blowing anything up. Please get in touch. If you did play this one as well, I'm curious what you thought of it, especially with the kind of like sponginess of the enemies that we ran into. And with that, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll be back with some more reviews, previews, and more coming soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.